You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
Anthony Handy, thank you, sir, for that wonderful introduction, as always. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. This is episode 467 of the podcast. This episode, we are talking Maryland football. Before we get into the video, there's a few things I want to say up front. 466 was the first edition of One Mind, One Goal, Road to WNBA Championship, WNBA Playoff Preview, Part 1, where we broke down the eight teams, and also went over the three this first round matchup. Brendan Potts was in that episode. Thank you, Mr. Brendan Potts, for being a part of that episode. Well, in this episode, Maryland football, we are 2 weeks. We're going into week 3. This is the last week for Maryland football in terms of non-conference football. They're going against Towson University. And after that, Big Ten football play begins after Towson. We're also going to be previewing the Towson matchup as well. Let's get into it. First and foremost, I got to give a special shout out to my guys, Sean Spencer, Cameron Marcus, and April, Cam's sister, and Anthony. We're all at the game Friday. It was great to go in person. The SECU Stadium, it was fun. Had a great time. I initially had made a video same time about the whole Angel Reese thing. I meant to talk about that in the other video, but that's a whole other time. That's okay. It's neither here nor there. But it was really a good experience. I had fun. Other than the traffic, which is for that area of that 495 traffic is something, but no issues. I think for me, kind of wanted to see what it was like. That's my first time going to a Maryland football game in person, period. But it was really a great atmosphere. Got to hang with, it was great with a great group of friends, really great time. I recommend anyone to go. Got to sit next to a family. It was their first time as well. We were really into it. I will say that we got to see some legends. The great Joe Smith, E.J. Henderson, Maryland women's basketball team was there. Got to see some tailgating. Did not partake. I went to Looney's Pub just for a pregame quick meal. But other than that, I had fun. But let's talk about the game. Really, for me, with this win, it was. Underwhelming. 29-20 to 9. NIU.
Game over, yeah!
Okay. I don't even know where we start. First and foremost, Malik Washington is a freshman. Okay. Northern Illinois is not Florida Atlantic, two totally different conferences. This is the first time we saw this team, Northern Illinois, since '04, and I felt like this was his first true, for Malik, really for this team, their first test of adversity. Because from the dark horse and all type of conversations, each week is different. And yeah, I mean, 19 to 35, two touchdowns, but the stat line does not reflect that. At times I saw flaws, but especially towards the end zone when he attempted to balance himself on the run with his right hand and he fumbled holding the ball, and the hand holding the ball. That can't happen. I saw his inconsistent footwork. There was missed opportunities down the field. But some of that thing was also in play calling. I'm not going to put that all on his shoulders. But again, I mean, it's the second game of the season. And do I get like that's I don't want the bar so high. I think each game there should, each game I think we will see him progress. So, I mean, he definitely settled in the game as the game progressed. He made the right plays. He was smart with the decision making. He had two touchdowns, which was Dorian Fleming and Charlique Knotts. So I liked that. My other biggest issue, I will stick with the offense. Dorian Fleming, I think, is becoming his number one option. Because obviously Georgia State transfer as our tight end, because most of our tight end group from last year is gone. He really did well. He made some big plays for us, and he's going to be really, really key. That fourth and final catch, where was that on the end zone, the 13-yard play, where it was up 10-0 in the second quarter. I was a little curious why I kind of questioned in the second half he did not catch a pass. But he finished, he led the team in receiving yards. But I still think he will be key, especially when we get the Big Ten play, because it's going to be interesting to see how Malik will transfer, as we get into after Towson, we get into Big Ten play, his upperclassmen receivers like Dorian, Knotts, and those guys are really going to be security blankets, and developing that rapport, that chemistry, are going to be key. My other keys went well for us. Northern Illinois, they like to run the ball, and they won in the trenches. They control the pace. They dominated much of the time possession. I think it was like almost 21 minutes and some change in the first half, compared to Maryland, where they held the ball for under 9 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I can't defend that. What do you want me to say to that?
I mean, this is some bad stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how much more of this I can take. I just don't know. This is ridiculous. Oh, Lord.
But I will say, I do think their run game was not efficient. It was not consistent. And I think looking back at the tape on how they defeated Holy Cross, if you look at those numbers, I think they finished with 208 yards, almost 4.7 yards per carry. You got at one point the third quarter where we allowed Telly Johnson Jr. to score a 74-yard touchdown. But I mean, if you take that away, their run game wasn't that great. I mean, our interior, they did the best they could. Cam Rice, I think he had 9 tackles. Daniel Wingate, I think, and Trey Reddick, I think, had 25 combined tackles. I remember correctly. I was tallying it up. I mean, the pass rush did its job. Secondary did a great job. So definitely ring your hat on them. But that run game was really, really something. But I mean, with Johnson finishing with 86 yards, Siobhan Wright, he finished with 87 yards, I remember correctly. But they had 180 yards total with Maryland, just 87. That we got to be more consistent with that. I was also really kind of disappointed with how our run game looked with that.
He didn't even try.
And Coach Locksley talked about it in the post presser as well. And also to keep in mind, I'm also going to upload those post pressers as well on the YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen, just so y'all could see as well. I'm gonna do that this weekend. What else? The poise. I really want to give, and I think this really kind of I got to give Coach Locksley his respect on this. Dave really, let's go back. When coming into halftime, the first half, it was 10-3. And we were up 10. And then obviously the Telly Johnson Jr. 78-yard touchdown, which is obviously 13-9. Then there was the fumble, obviously, in the red zone by us. Then NIU was done after that. Maryland forced them to punt the ball twice. Then it was a 6-play, 77-yard touchdown drive, 20-9. Like, those little things matter. And I kind of saw that in the win against Florida Atlantic, but in the fourth quarter against the Big Ten teams, that might be good, but you got to play a consistent full game, because that will hurt you against the Wisconsins. We're not playing the Ohio States or the Penn States. We still have a reputable Big Ten schedule. I still picked Maryland to win 9 games, 10 honestly, for being honest. But I mean, Michigan is probably the only really one. Indiana, but like, you still got a reputable. It's going to be some bumps and bruises. No lie about that. But outside of that, honestly, it was an interesting game to watch. But for the most part, I'm proud of them. They stuck with it. I had no issues other than I was really kind of curious with when there were some questionable calls with the officiating, but that was okay. But other than that, man, NIU, I mean, they got a good team, but their offense in terms of passing last year, it really the stats do prove why they were the worst passing offense, because it was nowhere to be found. And I'm sitting there like, especially you're down 4, I can at least see a couple throws, but didn't see that. That's all I got for you on the NIU game. Other than that, great game, and they well deserved, and more importantly, one hell of a win and one hell of a way to stay poised. And again, hey, they're 2-0, and again, each game's different. And one thing I've seen from each game is that there are some flaws, but there are willing to say this is what we have to work on to get better. So, and I'm hoping to see what in the Towson game, which we'll talk about in just a second as we take a commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back. Okay, we're back. This week, it's a quote unquote homecoming game. It's not a actual homecoming game, but for Mike Locksley, it is. He's going up against his alma mater, Towson University, home of the Towson Tigers. This is our last home non-conference game. We look to push our non-conference winning streak as well, because we've been on a tear with that. Bring your hat on that stat. Now, first, a little background. Mike Locksley was a former defensive player for the Towson Tigers back in 1988 to 99. He actually started his coaching career in Towson. And then from there, you've seen where it's been since. Towson is 2-0 in the CAA. They were 7-5 last year. Coach Pete got the Tigers their first their first win last year, 7 wins since 5 years ago. Because last year they were 14-11 his first 3 years. Because I think that's they haven't seen nothing like that since 2013 against UConn. They did beat Norfolk State, Michael Vick's debut, and the battle of the city, Morgan State versus Towson, which Morgan State should have won the game, but it was a last second go-ahead touchdown for Towson to pull it out. But honestly and truthfully, for Towson, for me, just a couple things. The running game. This running game so far, the first 2 games, has been really interesting. I've been disappointed with what I've seen so far. And again, I really kind of curious to see what is it. Maybe is it the system? Is it get to see what the defense gives you? I'm just really curious to see, because when you have just 86 total yards rushing against NIU, I'm really curious to see how you look against the Towson Tigers. So I don't know where we need to fix on that. So hopefully this will be the game where our running backs, this is the make or break for them. We have to also to be better, and I meant this in the game against NIU. We have to be better at being consistent. Like, for example, if it's like 2nd and 5, okay, and then let's say, okay, we're at the 10-yard line, and then all of a sudden, like, we score, but then on the other side, like the NIU, for example, like we didn't do a great job stopping them on 3rd down. Again, our inability to stop the run, holding the ball for 21 minutes in the first half. We struggled on 3rd down 4 or 12 because we couldn't get going. We got to capitalize on that. For me, that's one of my biggest things I want to see against this team. And then also too, like outside of the passing game, I'm curious to see how this defense look against this Tigers defense. This Tigers defense offense is no joke. The great is it? I can't believe who it is. It's Andrew Endorf. I believe he is starting this week because he's the freshman. Because he threw so far, I think he's thrown 65% of his passes, 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. So, because Nathan Kent last year was the starter, 2023. So, and on top of that, Mr. John Dunmore is the cheat code, obviously. So we got to figure out how to stop him. But their run defense is going to be something to see because, again, Morgan State and Norfolk State, they failed at trying to do something. Towson holds them to has held so far opponents, both teams, so 3.5 yards per carry, just 69 yards total, 69 total carries. So whether that's Nolan Ray, Deshaun Williams, somebody's got to get going. I think you're going to see more of a air raid offense. Again, Towson's not the best at running the ball. And I mean, they've tried to run the ball, even though I don't know why they really haven't tried. But I mean, really just 3 yards per carry. And I think some of that again is, I think they're more comfortable just throwing the ball. But I don't know. We'll see how it looks. But obviously, Maryland has beaten them the last 3 times since we've seen them. This is our 4th matchup. So this should be a good game. But I am curious to see how those things look. If we do all those things, I think Maryland will defeat the Towson Tigers 30-17.
Guaranteed.
So those are the things I really am curious to see what will look like tomorrow. The game is on Peacock. Game comes on at 12. I did write an article on teambsmedia.com preview for this game, but go Terps. And again, like I said, it's homecoming for Mike Locksley. We got to see last week for the NIU. It was homecoming for their coach. He coached running back coach for 4 years from 2014, 2018 for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm sorry, his name escapes me at the moment. I apologize. So it's really interesting to see kind of how this is going. But after this, Big Ten play. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, one final thought, Eric. Okay. One final thought, ladies and gentlemen.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize them.
All right. Eric says the one final thought is Mike Locksley. The last 2 weeks, he got on me for not playing the locker room motivational speeches. So that's going to be our one final thought, ladies and gentlemen. Please like, comment, and subscribe for our future content for the podcast. Be tuned for future episodes. Thank you so much. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate the support you're giving me in this channel. Again, we'll catch you on the flip side. Check out teambsmedia.com for all content, NFL, college, NBA, WNBA. We will follow the WNBA playoffs, and we'll see a part 2 more than likely in the second round, but we'll try to follow up after the first game. So, and then also too, we'll talk about the awards, because the awards for the WNBA at some point, I think, will be the Associated Press put theirs out, I believe. No, they put out today. So I meant to talk about that in another episode, but that's okay. So other than that, let's see really quick. Let's just talk about it. So tomorrow, Monday the 15th, their most improved player will be announced. Wednesday, the 17th, Coach of the Year. The 18th, Defensive Player of the Year. The 5 finalists for the MVP. Interesting. And then Saturday, 6th Player of the Year. Most Valuable Player will be announced that Sunday. And that following Monday will be Sportsman Award of the Year. I have an idea who that will be. Executive of the Year. All Rookie Team. All Defensive first and second teams. That's October 1st. October 2nd is the WNBA Executive Leadership Award presented by Dolet. And then the 7th is the all first and second, all WNBA first and second teams, and then Rookie of the Year. So again, that's just want to put that out there. But again, please like, comment, and subscribe for official content. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all. So let's get into it, AJ.
First and foremost, man, congratulations on a great, hard-fought team win. All right? I'm glad to see that we got some disappointed faces, because we know we won the game but didn't play our best, right? We didn't play our best. As a young, inexperienced team, every week we're going to have to clean up some. But when we needed to make a play, we found ways to do it. That is how we're going to grow, fellas. It's not going to always be pretty. Understand that we got to get back in here, get all the things corrected, and we'll get better every week. You got me? First and foremost, man, congratulations on a great, hard-fought team win. All right? I'm glad to see that we got some disappointed faces because we know we won the game but didn't play our best, right? We didn't play our best. As a young, inexperienced team, every week we're going to have to clean up some shit. But when we needed to make a play, we found ways to do it. That is how we're going to grow, fellas. It's not going to always be pretty. Understand that we got to get back in here, get all the things corrected, and we'll get better every week. You got me?
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode and you want to see more content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And I wanna thank you. All I wanna do is say thank you.